Good morning. Shabbat Shalom. Peace be with you. Welcome. I'm a little bit groggy still this morning, so bear with me. Sometimes I like to wake up like that because it puts me in a happy mood. I love it. Anyway. This is your daily dose of elevation, leveling up your spirit one stream at a time. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. And thanks for learning and growing with me today. We're going to start off with a little bit of music this morning just because that's the way I like to do things. Get yourself started with some good jams. This first song is called Unborn Light. All these songs were sermon today.
In the quiet of the dawn, when the world was still asleep, I felt the unborn river rising from a silence deep. No beginning, no becoming, no decay and no stain, just the breath of all existence whispering my name. I saw the world unfasten from the chains of I and mine. Saw the sorrow and the longing melt into the great divine. Every heartbeat was a mantra, every tear a sacred sign. The unborn light was rising, and the rising light was mine. Unborn, undying, beyond all grasping, beyond all trying. Silent flame that never fades, truth no shadow ever shades. Unborn, undying, light within the heart is rising. Deep and subtle as the wind that moves the mountain stone, soft as mercy, fierce as fire, older than the bone. Not a thought and not a doctrine, not a word the tongue can own, just the truth that waits in stillness when the seeker stands alone.
Hello, Victoria. DK Williams, welcome to the stream. We're listening to some music to start off the sermon today. This is going to be about the unborn light. That's what the song is called.
Let the world keep turning, let the mind keep yearning, the unborn light remains. Let the storms keep breaking, let the heart keep aching, the unborn truth sustains. Unborn, undying, beyond all grasping, beyond all trying. Silent flame that never fades, truth no shadow ever shades. Unborn, undying, light within the heart is rising.
There's always a transition period between the music and the sermon, even in churches. That's what we are right here, us gathered together to listen and learn. This is still a church, even though I'm at my house and you may be at your house or out in public. Wherever you're listening, wherever you're tuning in, thank you for joining. In part one, we're talking about the sky before scriptures. Before this first scripture was inked, before the first prophet breathed, before the first ancestor carved symbols into stone, there was only breath. The Lakota call it Takuakan, the great mystery, the sacred that cannot be named. That's from Black Elk. The Zulu call it Umoya, the breath that moves through all things. The Hebrew call it Ruach Elohim, the wind of God hovering over the waters. In Genesis 1:2. And the Taoists call it Tao, the way that cannot be spoken, only breathed. And the Buddha, sitting beneath the Bondi tree, touched the same breath when he whispered that he had reached the nirvana, which is unborn, unrivaled, secure from attachment, deep, subtle, difficult to see. Different continents, different languages, but the same revelation, because sky has always been the first scripture. The psalmist once looked up and said, "The heavens declare the glory of God. Night after night they display knowledge." Psalms 19:1 and 2. And the Navajo elders say, "Walk in beauty before me, behind me, above me, below me." Two traditions, worlds apart, yet both hearing the same sermon preached by the stars. The sky speaks to every people. The Hopi say, "The world is a sacred place. Treat it with respect." I think we've forgotten these traditions over the years. The San Bushmen of the Kalahari say that when they dance, the divine energy, Noom, rises in their spine like lightning, and God hears them. Like I said, sometimes I just like to start my day off with some music. And this making my face dance, because how often does your face get to dance, right? Move those muscles around. Bring that electricity from your spine into your whole being. The Yarupa Ifa corpus teaches that the world is a marketplace and heaven is home. We come to the world to meet and mingle with everyone in the marketplace, each one having something else we can learn or gain knowledge from. The Tao Te Ching says heaven and earth last forever because they do not live for themselves, but for all of those in which they carry. And the psalmist says that the sky pours forth speech in Psalms 19:2. Have you ever listened to the sounds that come out of those Hubble space telescopes? Just listening to the stars. Each one of them makes its own unique sound. All of them are describing a universe that's not silence, and science backs it up. The universe is alive, a universe that is trying to get our attention. The human heart is the meeting place between you and the divine. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. We're discussing the interfaith belief, how they all connect, and how we have a light that is just waiting to be born within us. The Bhagavad Gita whispers, "I am seated in everyone's heart." This was Krishna talking. Krishna is their word for God, and he's seated in everyone's heart. And then also it says, as soon as one desires to worship any deity, I make their faith steady. When you choose to worship and you choose to be and dwell in the divine presence, they will make your faith steady. This is not a God of exclusion. This is a God of accommodation, a God who says, I will meet you where you are. Not where you will be, but where you are in this moment. The Quran echoes this tenderness. It says, pray unto me and I will answer you. Even more, the Sikh scripture, the Guru Granth Sahib says, there is no Hindu, there is no Muslim, only one light. Christ was not a Christian. Buddha was not a Buddhist. They were teachers of the same path. Just different translations of that path, different perspectives of looking at the path. The Tao Te Ching says the Tao is in all things. Even if we take it from entertainment movies like Star Wars, the Force flows through all things. The Spirit, the Tao. The Lakota say the center of the universe is everywhere. Well, if God is everywhere, the divine is everywhere, then the center of the universe must be everywhere. And psychologist says the human mind is wired for meaning, connection, and transcendence. It's not meant to be stagnant. It is not meant to sit still and do nothing. But when we come to a hard scripture, if a priest's daughter marries a non-priest, then she shall not eat of the holy food. This is in Leviticus 22:12. It sounds like a judgment, like a condemnation. But the rabbis added that achala. Oh, hello, Anik James. The rabbis added that achala, a woman whose lineage had been profound, may not partake of the sacred portions. This is a story about belonging, about who is in and who is out, about purity, identity, and the ache of being told you're no longer worthy. Can you imagine that ache? But listen to how the world's wisdom responds. The Lakota say, all of my relations. And the Haudenosaunee, sorry, again, sometimes it's hard to pronounce the words, Haudenosaunee. They say, we are all relatives under the sky world. We're all relations. We are all related. And again, as we've heard over this week of sermons, Ubuntu says, I am because we are. Jesus says, I desire mercy, not sacrifice. Live our lives as living sacrifices of showing mercy. The Quran says, we made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. We are in different nations and different tribes to learn different aspects and different perspectives of the divine, and so that we can know one another and share this knowledge. Psychology says exile wounds the nervous system and belonging heals it. When you are excluded from groups or home life or society, that creates a wound, not just in your heart and in your spirit, but in your nervous system. But belonging to something can heal that. The Quran says, oh, we said that. So when Leviticus draws a line in the sand, when we draw lines on maps, the rest of the world's wisdom draws a wider circle around it. It says this is a little law, but the greater law is more important. Epictetus says, and he steps in and says in our story, like a stern but loving uncle, do not ask, tell me what to do. Ask instead, train my mind to adapt to any circumstance. Instead of saying, tell me what to do, which you're going to have to repeatedly ask when they give you an instruction and you complete it, say, train my mind to adapt to any circumstance. That way, once you're done with the task, you can adapt and go on to the next one. The Buddha says the same thing. Attachment is suffering. So many times I have talked to individuals who say, I'm depressed right now. And I say, what triggered this depression? And they say, well, I just broke up with somebody. Or, oh, my friends aren't talking to me and I feel like they're excluding me. That's what happens. We become attached, and those attachments we form become so important that when they're broken, when they're severed, it creates a wound in our nervous system. But see, that attachment is good. At the same time, we are supposed to attach to the divine because that is the one source that will never leave us. It's always around us. The Tao says the same thing. The stiff and unbending is the discipline of death. When you become stiff, unlearning, unbending, unwilling to open up your mind, you're already dead inside. The Navajo say the same thing. Walk in beauty even when the path changes. If you look at nature, you can walk the same path every single day. Even if you're a hiker, you know this fact. You walk the same trail day after day, but it changes and you can still see the beauty in it. It changes from season to season. It may change from day to day or even moment to moment. Currently residing in a state of that we like to joke and say, well, that's Montana for you. The weather changes every 5 minutes. It could change in a moment. Still see the beauty in it, though. The Zulu say, a person is a person through other people. I am because we are. And psychology says resilience is not about control, it's about flexibility. To be resilient against something, you need to be flexible with your surroundings, the circumstances that occur. If you're tough, or what we have been told or perceived that resilience is, that you can hold up against any storm, poof! There was even a Magic School Bus episode where they built big old towers. And it was the 3 pigs versus the wolf. And, they were trying to build these towers to withstand strong wind. And they learned that the more rigid the material, it didn't stand up to the wind. It would fall. But the resilient material was the one that moved and flexed with the wind. Nahum whispers, the Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. And the San Bushmen say, when the world is too heavy, we dance until God lifts us. Sometimes the world does get heavy, but I can say, from my own experience, when you just let it loose, don't worry about anybody else. Just listen to your music and dance. One of my more recent favorite songs that I like to listen to is Dance Like David. I like to dance like David because he was saved. David was a king and he was dancing in the street. I'm sure lots of people looked at him like, what is going on? This man, our ruler, is just breaking it down in the middle of the street like he ain't got a care in the world. That's what it's like. When we dance with God and the divine, he lifts us up. He sends that shock of energy down our spine into us. The Buddha says in the Dharma, I find a refuge no storm can shake. And the Quran said, God is closer than your jugular vein. The Tao says the Tao is the mother of all things. And even still, psychologists say safety is the soil in which healing grows. When we feel safe, then we can grow and heal. All of them are describing the same shelter, the same refuge, the same eternal presence. With that, we're going to go back to a song. The next song is not that my back hurts, because let me tell you, it does. I got a migraine forming. No good, no bueno. All right. The Sky That Speaks, and then In Every Heart, we'll do 2 songs.
The sky was preaching long before the prophets learned to speak, pouring wisdom through the starlight, night by night and week by week. Every sunrise is a scripture, every cloud a sacred sign. Heaven's voice is in the wind, and every whisper is divine. The heavens declare the glory of the one who meets us everywhere. Day pours out speech, night pours out truth. Creation sings the ancient proof. The heavens declare. The heavens declare.
Welcome. Your daily dose of elevation. We're leveling up your spirit one stream at a time.
No cathedral ever built could hold the sermon of the sky.
It's
no theology could capture how
every piece of it.
Constellations cry. Every star a burning witness, every moon a holy song, every storm a revelation, every stillness is a balm. Lift your eyes, lift your eyes. Hear the gospel in the skies. Lift your heart, lift your heart. You are sacred from the start. Lift your heart, lift your heart.
It's gonna grow out.
Hear the gospel in the skies. Lift your heart, lift your heart.
The shaved parts are
you
cleansed off.
Sacred from the start.
Old energy. Red are reminding that ego is dead. I live for the divine. The grave is chaos.
Day pours out speech, night pours out truth. Creation sings the ancient proof. The heavens declare. The heavens declare.
That's not how you ask. No. I have things to do. Thank you. You have many things to play on. Children. We learn how ungrateful we can be when we watch our children. This song is called In Every Heart. It is a bilingual song mixing Indian
their beats a flame, a quiet whisper of the name. No matter where the seeker starts, the one resides in every heart. When you reach for any light, the divine will meet your side. Every path and every prayer, the one is waiting there. In every heart, in every soul, the one who makes the broken whole. Antarayami deep within, the journey out, the journey in. In every heart, in every soul, the
Bilingual
one
speak up
who
your shoulders.
makes the broken whole. Antarayami deep within, the journey out, the journey in. Antaryami, Antaryami, हृदय में तुम स्वामी. Antaryami, Antaryami, हृदय में तुम स्वामी.
Taryami, Taryami, in the heart, you alone, my Lord. The translation of the Sanskrit. Hello, Yvette. Welcome.
Desire shapes the path we take, but love is what the heavens make. And when we bow to any form, the one makes every faith transform. Steady the faith, steady the flame. Every devotion calls the same name. Steady the heart, steady the soul. The one within is making us whole. In every heart, in every soul, the one who makes the broken whole. Antaryami deep within, the journey out, the journey in. In every heart, in every soul, the one who makes the broken whole. Antaryami deep within, the journey out, the journey in. Antaryami, Antaryami, हृदय में तुम स्वामी. Antaryami, Antaryami, हृदय में तुम स्वामी.
I don't know about you all, but every time I hear any type of music that's got some soul to it, rhythm, my soul responds. It just wants to make me move. People laugh, you wave your arms around and you dance. It's okay. You could line up a whole bunch of those little wiggly men and they'd all dance. Every flower makes different. Worry about how you dance. Find it. It says dance. Let me fill you with my spirit. It's better when you dance. All right. We'll come back to more songs in a little bit. For those of you just joining in, welcome. This is your daily dose of elevation, leveling up your spirit one stream at a time. We do interfaith sermons here because God is in all things. The divine is in all things. We cannot confine God to one 3-letter word box. Long before humans wrote anything down, we gathered around fire. Fire was the first teacher, it was the first storyteller, it was the first sanctuary. The Lakota say that when the people sit in a circle around the fire, the ancestors sit with them. The Yoruba say that fire is the presence of Ogun, the opener of paths. When God walked with the Egypt or with the when God walked with the Hebrews in the deserts after they escaped Egypt, he appeared to them as a burning flame. The Hopis say that fire remembers the beginning of the world, and the Taoists say that fire is the yang that dances with the yin of water. And the Buddhists continue, it says that the world is burning with the fires of desire, aversion, and delusion. But fire is not only destruction, it's illumination, it is transformation, it is constant movement. Have you ever just sat and watched a fire? The flames and the colors, it's intoxicating. Fire is the place where the old self burns away and the new self emerges. The Cherokee Nation says that the fire inside of us is the fire of the Creator. And even other scriptures say that the all is within the all, but the all are not the all. Putting it another way, God lives in all of us. The divine is in all of us, but we are not the divine. Yet we carry it within us. The sixth scripture says the divine light is within every heart. And the Bhagavad Gita says, I am the fire of digestion in every living body. Fire is not just outside us, it's within us. Across all these different scriptures, all these different traditions, the message remains the same. The head Hayden Nasani, again, big words sometimes make me stumble. HAUDENOSAUNEE. The Thanksgiving address begins with, we now turn our thoughts to the fire and give thanks. Because fire remembers. Fire remembers the first dawn, the first prayer, the first time a human looked up at the stars and wondered, who made all of this? The psalmist wondered the same thing. The skies proclaim the works of his hands, Psalms 19:1. And the Tao sages wondered the same thing. They said the Tao gave birth to the one, and the one gave birth to two, and the two gave birth to 10,000 things. I have a similar saying. It says one begot two, and two begot three, and three became many. The Navajo wondered as well. In the beginning was the holy wind. And the Buddha wondered the same thing under the Bodhi tree. Different fires, same longing in all of them. It was the fire of identity. The fire also reveals the wounds we carry, and it helps purify us. To get the richest gold, you put it through the fire over and over and over again. To purify it, to get rid of the toxins. That is why we go through these tests. What good is a testimony without the tests in which you endured to tell that testimony? This is a fire of exclusion that burns the wrong people. The fire says you do not belong. That's the fire from the Leviticus in which we talk to. Leviticus tells the story of the priest's daughter who, by marrying outside her lineage, becomes profaned and forbidden to eat the holy food. That's the fire of exclusion, of wrong. But listen to how the world's wisdom responded to it. All of these different nations, Lakota saying, Mitakua, Oyasin, all my relations. I apologize if I say it wrong. I wasn't raised with these nations, but I wish I could have experienced them. The Kasao say, Umuntu, Nugumuntu, Nagabantu. A person is a person through other people. Buddha says, well, thank you for the hearts. Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. Why do we keep having wars? Because we keep arguing. When somebody finally steps up and stops arguing, stops fighting, stops hating, that is when they will stop having wars. But until then, hatred will just beget more hatred. The Quran says, we made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another, not so that you may battle one another and argue with one another and judge one another, saying that each other was wrong. But know one another as I want to know you. The psychologists say identity is not a boundary, it's a bridge. You may wonder, why am I throwing psychology in here? Because I was once asked, how can you have spirituality and psychology? They're completely separate sides of the spectrum, and they're not. When we have a healthy spirit and a healthy mind, it continues to become health. So when Leviticus draws a line, when we draw a line in society and in our countries, the rest of the world has drawn circles around them. Circles of inclusion. Fire is a transformation. The Sand Bushmen say that when the Noom rises during the trance dance, the healer becomes a lion, a flame, a wind. When I imagine God, I imagine this ever-changing light of flame that is every color and no color, and all of them combined, and it can morph into whatever it chooses. That same spirit resides in us. Have you just let yourself go? Ever just let yourself go into the music, into the rhythm of the earth? The Yoruba say that when the spirit descends, the dancer becomes the deity. The deity resides within us. We all can become avatars in which God can speak through the divine. The Taoists say that when the sage aligns with the Tao, they become like water, soft yet unstoppable. Water is soft. You can stick your hand in it and you can, but it is so strong you can wash your clothes in it and it can create canyons. The Bhagavad Gita says, when the yogi sees all beings in the self, and the self in all beings, he becomes one with the divine. The self meaning the higher self, the divine self. And Buddha says, be a lamp unto yourselves. Be that light shining for others. Transformation is not just a moment. It is a fire that burns slowly, steadily, faithfully. And the fire of prayer. If you think back through many traditions, when we say our prayers to our ancestors or to the gods or burn sacrifice, what are we burning it with? Fire. We are sending our prayers up with fire. The Quran says, pray unto me and I will answer you. The Sikh scriptures say, when you call upon the name, the divine answers. The Hopi says prayers are the smoke that rises to the Creator. And the Lakota says the smoke of the pipe carries our prayers to the Wankantanka, the Great Spirit. Even psychology says prayer regulates the nervous system. It calms the amygdala in your brain and it strengthens resilience. Prayer is not superstition. It is connection. It is breath. It is fire. We talked about yesterday how our mouths can burn with anger and poison. but they can also burn with a purifying fire, like the fire that didn't burn Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego as the Spirit of God was with them. The fire that anointed the apostles after Pentecost. Nahum whispers, the Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. Nahum 1:7. And the Tao whispers this, the Tao is the matter of all things. We continue through the different cultures and the scriptures. The Navajo whispers, in the house of dawn, I will find my strength. Zulu says, God is the great tree under whose shade all people gather. And the Buddha whispers, in the Dharma, I found a refuge no storm can shake. All of them are describing the same shelter, the same refuge, the same eternal presence, that fire that led the Hebrews out of Egypt and through the desert for 40 years. We talked about the profaned woman in Leviticus and how she was cast out from her own people. But I didn't play the song that goes with it, so I'm going to play that now. And then before we go into the next part of the teaching today, we'll play our last song, which will be called And I Answer. So this first song is called The Profaned Woman's. If you've ever been passed out or been pushed to the side because you made the wrong choice for the people around you, know that the world draws circles around you, not a line to separate you. Sing a song for you. Whether you're a woman or just standing up for what you believe.
They told me I was unclean, that my story broke the line. They told me I was unworthy of the bread and of the wine. But the God who shakes the mountains and the God who formed the sea said the holy is not distant, and the holy lives in me.
Bilingual song.
Kedoshani, Kedoshani, La tukhlu,
Cannot separate you from the holy.
Sacred, I am whole. No decree can touch my soul. They said my love profane, said my lineage was torn. But the God who births compassion said I was never born forlorn. For the holy is not tribal, and the sacred is not small, and the one who breathes creation breathes the same breath into all. Let the gates swing open wide. There is no outside in God's eyes. Let the circle wide and still. Every exile is God's will to heal. קדוש אני, לא תוכלו
You cannot separate.
להפריד אותי.
No.
I am sacred, I am holy. No decree can touch my soul.
And call and I answer. Welcome to your daily dose of elevation, leveling up your spirit one stream at a time. Listen to our last song today, and we'll continue on with the teaching.
When the night is heavy on your shoulders, when the storm is rising in your chest, when the world has turned its face away, call my name and I will give you rest.
Another bilingual song. Arabic. English.
Call and I answer you in the refuge of my mercy. I will carry you through. When the shadows gather at your doorway, when the heart is trembling in the cold, when the path is lost beneath your feet, call my name and watch the dawn unfold. I am the shelter in the storm, the refuge when the night is long. I am the one who hears your cry, the one who lifts your spirit high. Ud'uni astajib lakum, call and I answer you in the refuge of my mercy. I will carry you through.
Welcome, Carbuncle.
Ud'uni astajib lakum,
Welcome.
call and I answer you in the refuge of my mercy. I will carry you through.
All right. Welcome. Thank you. We're on part 3 of the teaching right now. This is your daily dose of elevation, leveling up your spirit one stream at a time. We just listened to our last 2 songs for the day. We're touching again on fire, but now we're going to switch it up. If fire is the first teacher, then water is the second. Water reminds the shape of everything. It remembers everything it touches. Water carries stories. Water teaches us how to move, how to bend, how to yield, how to persist. The Tao Te Ching says that nothing in the world is softer than water, yet nothing can resist it. The Yoruba Ifa corpus says, water has no enemy. The Navajo say water is life, water is holy, and the psalmist says in Psalms 23, 2 through 3, he leads me beside still waters, he restores my soul. Water is fire, and fire is water. Different rivers, but the same wisdom. The Hopi creation story says that the first people emerged from the womb of the earth through a sipapo, a small hole in the ground, guided by the spider woman who taught them how to live in harmony. The Yoruba creation story says that the world began when Obatala descended from heaven with a snail shell full of sand and a hen to scatter it, forming land from the waters. And the Hindu scripture says, from the cosmic waters, all things arose. The Tao says the Tao is the mother of the world. And in Genesis, it says the Spirit of God moved over the face of the waters. Every tradition remembers water as the first cradle. In fact, every child, when it comes into the world, comes from water. I like to joke and say we're all amphibians in essence. Rivers do not stay still. They move, they carve, they transform. If water becomes stagnant, it's no longer good. When we become stagnant in our faith, in our learning, in our growing, we become stuck. The Lakota say the river is a relative, treat it with respect, and the Zhao Zhu says the river is the path of the ancestors. The Buddha states all conditioned things are in the constant state of flow, and the Bhagavad Gita says, as the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all desires flow into the self, the divine self. Psychology backs this up with stating that the mind is not a stone, it's a river. It changes with every experience, every memory, every breath we take. In fact, if you lose a portion of your brain, another portion of your brain can pick up the slack. It can transform in a way. It can learn. It can grow. It changes. It adapts. That's how it stays resilient. The mind is resilient because it is flexible. Let us follow suit. The Navajo night chant says, in beauty may I walk, with beauty before me, behind me, above me, below me. This is not just poetry, it's medicine for our soul, for our spirit. The San Bushmen say that water is the healer of the land and the healer of the body. Science even tells us that we're made up of 3/4 of water. The Yoruba say that the river goddess Oshun heals the heart and restores sweetness in life. Even in Christian scriptures, Jesus said, I am the water of life. The Tao says the sage is like water, nourishing all without striving. Jesus said, whoever drinks the water I give will never thirst. For it is not a physical thirst, but a spiritual thirst. That longing that we talked about earlier in one of our sermons this week. And again, we're going to bring it back to science. Psychology says healing requires flow. Emotion must move, not stagnate. We cannot stay stuck in one emotion or it begins to fester like a wound, untreated. Leviticus tells us of the woman who is excluded from the holy foods because she married outside her lineage. In Leviticus 22:12, these old laws, a river blocked, a flow interrupted. But the world's wisdom traditions respond with a flood of belonging, of acceptance. Lakota says, all my relations. I want to make sure I'm still here. Another tribe says we are all relatives under the sky world. Ubuntu says, I am because we are. I'm reiterating these facts because it's the same message across all these cultures about belonging, not separation. We were made into nations so that we may know each other and know the greater divine presence that is too vast and too great for one tribe to understand all of. The Buddha says, just as a mother protects her only child, so should one cultivate boundless love toward all beings. Belonging is the foundation of mental health, even. Exile creates a wound in the nervous system, but belonging creates that healing. The river of belonging flows wider than any boundary humans can draw. So why do we keep trying to draw these lines? The Hopi says prayers are carried by the river to the Creator. Lakota says the water of the pipe carries our prayers upward. And the Quran says, pray unto me and I will answer you. It is the yin. Water is the yin to the fire's yang. When you call upon the name, the divine answers. The Tao responds to all things. Psychology again says that prayer regulates the nervous system and strengthens resilience. Prayer is the river that flows both ways, from us to the divine and from the divine back to us. Nahum whispers, the Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. The mother of all things, the Tao says. The Navajo says, in the house of dawn I'll find my strength. And the Zulu whisper, God is the great tree under whose shade all people gather. Reiterating these facts, not only are they said about the fire aspect of it, but the water side too, yin and yang. And now the mountain. If the fire is the first teacher, the river is the second, then the mountains are our third. Mountains do not speak quietly. They don't whisper like rivers or crackle like fire, but mountains speak in a language of patience. The Navajo say that the mountains are the sacred ones. They stand as guardians of the people. The Lakota says the Black Hills are the heart of everything that is, and the Zulu say the mountain is where the ancestors dwell. Japanese Shinto traditions state that the kami dwell in the mountains. The Hebrew scriptures say, I lift my eyes to the hills. From where will my help come from? Psalms 121:1. Different mountains, but the same presence, the same guardian, cross cultures. The Hopi says that the first people were guided by the Spider Woman to the top of a mountain to receive instructions for living in harmony. Moses was guided. He went up to the mountain and the Lord spoke to him. In Buddhist scriptures, on Vulture Peak, the Buddha taught the Lotus Sutra. And in the Hindu scriptures, Shiva dwells on the Mount Kailash, the axis of the world. The Yoruba tribes say that Orun Mila, the spirit of wisdom, descended upon a mountain to teach humanity the Ifa divination system. Even Jesus was taken to a mountain and tempted by the devil in those moments. Every tradition remembers a mountain where heaven and earth touch. Mountains teach us the holiness of silence, even. The Tao Te Ching says that silence is a source of great strength. It is only when we are still that we can know. The Lakota say, in silence, the Great Spirit speaks. And the Japanese Zen tradition says, when the mind is still, the mountain reveals itself.
You're still streaming?
Yes.
Oh.
The Quran says, remember your Lord within yourself in humility and in silence. And psychology says that silence activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It allows us to heal. That's the healing nervous system. Silence is not emptiness, it's presence. Now, mountains are also places of struggle. The Lakota vision quest, Hanblakaya, or crying for a vision, takes place on a lonely hill or mountain where the seeker fasts and prays for 4 days. The Yoruba says the mountain is where one confronts their ori, their inner destiny. And the Buddhist scripture says that Mara came to Buddha on the mountain to test him, just like the devil came to Jesus. The Hebrew scripture states that Abraham went up to the mountain to be tested as well when he had Isaac. And psychology says transformation requires discomfort, the stretching of ourself, the pushing of our boundaries, the confrontation with fear, the willingness to be changed. Mountains are not easy places, but they are holy places, places where we learn and grow. From the mountaintop, everything looks different as well. The Hopi says from high places you can see the path of your people. The Tao says the sage sees the whole from the high place, and the Buddha says from the mountain of wisdom the world appears as it truly is. Take it from Jesus as well, a city on a hill cannot be hidden. The Bhagavad Gita says, one who sees with wisdom sees the self, the higher self, in all beings, and all beings in the higher self. Perspective is revelation. Perspective is liberation. Nahim whispers, the Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. The mountain protects us, the Navajo whisper, and it is shelter for the people, say the Zulu. The Tao state that the Tao is the high place where all find rest. And Buddha says in Dharma, I find a refuge no storm can shake. Again, psychology says that safety is the foundation of healing. We cannot truly heal until we truly feel safe. The mountain is not a place, it's a presence, a teacher, a guardian. Every tradition has a mountain that watches over the people. The Lakota have the Black Hills. The Navajo have the 4 sacred mountains. The Hopi have the San Francisco Peaks. The Yoruba have the Itasi. The Japanese have Mount Fuji. The Hindus have Kailash. The Buddhists have Vulture Peak. And the Hebrews have Sinai and Zion. Or Mount Sinai and Zion. Each mountain says the same thing. Stand tall, stand still, stand true. I'm watching over you. Now, if fire teaches us transformation, and water teaches us flow and resilience, mountain teaches us patience and calmness, then the heart teaches us awakening. The Lakota says the heart is the first altar. It is where we come and bring our first sacrifice. The Yoruba say, Ori Inu, the inner head, the inner heart, is the true shrine. Again, this is repeated in the Navajo faith. The holy wind lives in the heart. And the Tao Te Ching says the sage empties the heart and fills the belly. We empty our hearts of our own selfishness, and we feed the belly of our soul. And the Buddha says the mind is everything. What you think, you become. Different languages, same truth. Awakening begins within. The Buddha whispers that I am seated in everyone's heart. And the Quran says that God is closer to you than your own jugular vein. The sixth scripture says the divine light is within every heart, and the Tao whispers that it is within you. Again, the Navajo says walk in beauty within your heart, and you carry that beauty with you. Even psychology says that the heart, emotion, intuition, connection, that's the center of human meaning. To be human is to feel. The heart is the universal temple. But the heart is not only a temple, it's also a battlefield. Lakota says that the longest journey you will ever take is from your head to your heart. And the difference between wisdom and knowledge is the difference between head and heart. The Yoruba say that the heart must wrestle with its own shadow, and we do that daily. The Buddha states that the mind is difficult to control, but swift and restless, constantly needing to be reared in. The Quran says that in their heart is a disease, and God increases their disease. What is in our hearts shows and reflects in who we are. If we let it rot, that's what the Quran is saying. If in their hearts is a disease, then God will let that disease increase. God says, I can make a sign and make them all bow down and worship, but I want them to come to me willingly. The psychology says trauma lives in your heart-body system and not just the mind. Mental health doesn't just start here. It starts in our hearts, in our spirits. Awakening, it's not peaceful at first. If this is your beginning of your journey into awakening and your spiritual walk, it's not peaceful. You've seen those people that think they got it all together and they go to church every week or 2-3 times a week. Say, God gave me peace. It's there, but the journey is not always, hey, I just got my LGBT creator badge. That's awesome. Sorry. Because love, man, love. But awakening and truly walking that journey, you're going to go into the wilderness. It's not going to be peaceful at first. It's a storm before you can see the sunrise. But your heart is a place of compassion as well. Like a mother protecting her only child, the Buddha said. Compassion is the highest virtue, the Lakota teaches. The Yoruba teaches us that a heart without compassion is just a dry well. And the Tao teaches us that we have 3 treasures: compassion, simplicity, and humility. Jesus teaches us to love your neighbor as yourself. In fact, those were the laws that he said were most important. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And love your neighbor as yourself. Psychology teaches us that compassion activates the vagus nerve inside your brain that calms the body and heals the mind. They teach you that if you help or volunteer and give of yourself, it actually heals you. Because compassion isn't weakness, it's power. It's healing power to not only heal yourself, but others as well. The heart is also a place of revelation where we learn and where things are revealed to us. The heart is where the Creator speaks, the Hopi says, and the Navajo echo with the holy wind speaks through the heart. Yoruba says that Ori Inu reveals destiny. And the Quran says that God guides whom he wills into the light. If you're here today, it's not a mistake. You were brought here for a reason. The Bhagavad Gita says, to those who are devoted, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. And psychology says that insight arises when the heart and the mind become aligned, when they're no longer fighting. Revelation is not a lightning bolt like, psh. It's a quiet knowing. I think I may have to end this sermon a little early today. My neck and my head are getting really bad, and I still have to work this evening. But in essence, it's just reiterating the same thing that we've talked about. We are all interconnected. And from the divine, many were created to experience each other, to dwell with each other, to know one another. Thank you for being here today. I do apologize for having to wrap this up early, but this has been your daily dose of elevation, leveling up your spirit, one stream at a time. Thank you.